Imagine this. It's 2 a.m. in London, 9 p.m. in Washington, and sunrise in Moscow. Most of the world is asleep, and then every encrypted military channel on Earth lights up at once. No warning, no countdown, just one message. A major war has begun. Within seconds, missiles tear into the night sky, radar screens glow red, and decades of fragile peace collapse in minutes. But here's the question no one wants to ask. Who gets hit first and why?
Why war never starts randomly? Wars don't begin with chaos. They begin with plans written decades earlier. Every modern military studies its enemies relentlessly. Every airbase, port, city, and command center is already mapped, simulated, and ranked. Nothing is accidental. The opening strikes of any world war are designed to do one thing. Backhand index pointing right cripple the enemy before they can react. What history tells us about first strikes. History leaves a clear pattern. In World War I and World War II, the first attacks didn't target symbols. They targeted infrastructure. Airfields. Ports. Rail lines. Command centers. Because if you destroy how an enemy moves, communicates, and commands, you don't just weaken them. You paralyze them. And today, the weapons are faster, deadlier, unforgiving. Modern war begins in seconds, not days. In the 21st century, war doesn't unfold. It detonates. Hypersonic missiles cross continents in minutes. Cyber attacks shut down power grids instantly. Satellites are blinded before leaders finish speaking. The first wave isn't about territory. It's about decapitation. Capitals. Nuclear command centers. Launch sites. Air bases. Naval fleets. If NATO and Russia clash, what dies first? During the Cold War, both sides built target maps of the apocalypse. Declassified US documents revealed Soviet priorities. Moscow. St. Petersburg. Strategic bases across Siberia. Russian plans mirrored this logic. Washington, D.C. New York. Chicago. U.S. missile silos across the Midwest. Listen carefully. These cities weren't chosen for symbolism. They were chosen because whoever loses command first, loses everything. Europe is the most dangerous place on Earth. Europe is not a buffer. It's a chessboard. And the pieces are already touching. If war breaks out tonight, Europe burns first. Eastern Europe. Poland. Estonia. Latvia. Lithuania. These nations host NATO troops, radar systems, and air bases. And sit directly against Russia and Belarus. Warsaw. Riga. Tallinn. Vilnius. Not primary nuclear targets. But guaranteed early strikes. Why Germany becomes a bullseye? Germany isn't neutral in modern war. U.S. bases like Ramstein, Spangdahlem, and Buchel form the backbone of NATO logistics. Some are believed to store American nuclear weapons. From Moscow's perspective, backhand index pointing right cripple Germany, slow America. Why the UK can't be ignored. Britain doesn't just host cities. It hosts nuclear retaliation. The Foslane Naval Base in Scotland houses the UK's Trident submarines. That alone makes it one of Russia's earliest targets. London's role as a financial and command hub only increases the risk. Why civilians would suffer first, not last. Here's the brutal truth. Modern war does not separate soldier and civilian. Military hubs sit beside cities. Airbases near neighborhoods. Command centers beneath office districts. So even when civilians aren't targeted, backhand index pointing right, they are still hit. Within hours. Power grids fail. Communications collapse. Millions flee. Not because they were chosen, but because there is nowhere left to hide. Why the Pacific is the next inferno. If Europe is the chessboard, Asia is the powder keg. The first spark. Backhand index pointing right Taiwan. China views it as unfinished history. The US views it as a red line. If war erupts, Taiwan's ports, airfields, and command centers are hit within minutes. Why Japan and Guam are immediate targets. Japan hosts critical US bases. Okinawa, Yokosuka, Misawa. These are launch points for American power in Asia. Destroy them, and US response slows. Then there's Guam. Small island. Massive importance. Known as the unsinkable aircraft. Why South Korea can't escape. South Korea sits under three shadows. China, North Korea, U.S. missile defense systems. Seoul hosts U.S. forces and advanced defenses. That alone places it squarely in the crosshairs. What happens after the first 24 hours? The morning after would feel unreal. In North America, emergency broadcasts. Flights grounded. Martial law discussions. In Europe, highways jammed. Cities dark. Borders collapsing. In Asia, burning skies. Shelters filled. Second waves feared. And above it all, the nuclear question. Why nuclear war is a paradox. Every nuclear power fears one thing. Backhand index pointing right being hit first. So they spread weapons across. Silos. Submarines. Mobile launchers. But here's the paradox. The attempt to prevent nuclear war makes its use more likely. No leader can wait. One confirmed launch guarantees retaliation. No country stays out. Europe. Asia. Middle East. Then come the secondary powers. India. Pakistan. Israel. North Korea. One spark becomes many. And suddenly, backhand index pointing right, there are no spectators. Strong ending, call to reality. So when people ask, who gets hit first in World War III? They're asking the wrong question. Because the real answer is darker. It doesn't end with Poland. Or Taiwan. Or Guam. Or Montana. In a global war, backhand index pointing right, everyone is eventually hit. Supply chains collapse. Money freezes. Communication dies. Even untouched countries feel the shock instantly. This is the world we live in now. Interconnected. Fragile. Unforgiving. And that's why understanding the first strike isn't about fear. It's about awareness. Because in modern war, there are no sidelines.